Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Apex Racing TV and iRacing Live here for another round of the iRacing Grand Prix Series. We're at the Nürburgring. Everybody else is at Daytona. Conrad, what's going on? Why are we here?
Why are we here? You're gonna have to excuse me this morning for if I sound a little bit incoherent. We've got a team running the Daytona 24, and it's been a very long night. But we're at the Nürburgring for a bit of McLaren action, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's nice to not sit and watch GT3 cars and Daytona prototypes go around the darkness of Daytona.
Got a mini map to show anyone? No, we haven't. It's updated yet, and got a flicker in the background. But yeah, Nürburgring, fantastic F1 circuit. Obviously new to the service this season. Just looking at track conditions out there in qualifying, sort of temperatures okay, clear skies, moderate winds, so just pretty reasonable for racing. I'm not quite right. I don't see Patrick in this session as well, but he is still leading the championship at the moment. But I think yeah, the Pro Series race yesterday just showed us, you know, what kind of racing to expect. I think here today it's going to be great. It's going to be overtaking different places on the circuit. Dominantly, we can see most people running a higher downforce trim here rather than, you know, the mix that we've seen elsewhere. It is tricky, but yeah, I think it's going to be a great race today.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to watching those guys coming down the back straight, which is it's a long. The first half of it sort of a downhill straight, and you got the DRA zone, which leads into a very high braking zone with that very tight chicane. So that should be interesting to see how they negotiate that.
We are pretty much done with qualifying. Takes us a fair while to get into the sessions here, and yeah, I think waiting for the driver. No, time's out. So that's the grid. Do you want to take us through the starting order then, please?
Yeah, we've got Stein Schotthorst in first place this morning, and then we've got Giuseppe Ragusa in second place, Sebastiano Filosa in third, Matthew Daniels in fourth, Steve Honan in fifth, Jonas Nikoronen in sixth, Marcelino Ficara in seventh, and Matt Farah in eighth, Jan Schutter in ninth place, Carlo Labatti in 10th, Klaus Simons in 11th, Diljon Baldrin in 12th place, Juan Oralampi in 13th. On the 7th row, we've got Alberto Torribo Garcia, and next to him is Matt Wood, and then I'm picking up the last row is Jan Verusio and Joshua Daniels.
17 cars here today then. Yeah, going to be well, not as large as we would have hoped, I think, but still, yeah, with so many other events going on today, there's a lot of endurance racing going on this weekend, and of course the Daytona 24, so I'm not surprised at all. But,
yeah, we're missing quite a few regular names, but along with that, we've got one or two new names that's popped into the split as well today, so it should be interesting to see how they get on.
Yeah, apologies for the flicker. I mean, I'm not really sure why we've got that. All the settings are on to try and reduce that. Just, yeah. Nürburgring graphic requirements are extreme. Here we go then for the sixth round of the iRacing Grand Prix Series. Looks like a good start from everybody. A little bit tight, some moving around, but everybody's got away. Shorthurst got an absolute flyer through turn one. He's already pulled away. Eunice trying to work his way up and around. He's wants that third place. He will have the high ground for the right-hander here. He needs to utilise that. Gets on the power. They're still side by side all the way through down into this sort of downhill left-hander. Unfortunately, can't find his way around. Filosa holds on to third place. Everybody else got through the first few corners without any issues out there, so we've got a full 17 cars cruising around.
Yeah, there was touch and go on a couple of those guys. There was some wheel rubbing going on with little puffs of smoke flying here and there, but luckily everybody managed to get through without sending any cars flying. On the Senna Ace, is going to be very interesting in these first few laps. All the tires are warming up as well. You can just see a couple of the guys going through there trying to keep their foot in it, and the back end just starting to slide around a little bit.
We won't let the German fans hear you call the
Schumacher
S the Senna S.
Wow.
Because yeah, they'll have you.
I'll blame that on the 24 hours of Daytona. Sleep deprived, I tell you, sleep deprived.
Seems fair, I think. Right, as they come across the line for the first lap, everyone pretty much line of file. Maybe had a couple of drivers just drop back a little bit further than what they would have wanted to, so not sure what that was, but still pretty much there or thereabouts. But Shorthurst leads the way from Giuseppe in second and Sebastiano in third. Matt Farrow is in fourth, and then Eunice dropped down to fifth. Matt Daniels in sixth place. Ficarra in seventh. Jan Schwitter in eighth. Carlo is in ninth, and Steve Honan rounds out the top 10.
Yeah, we've had a couple of positional changes in the lower half of the field. John Baldwin managed to get past Johan Orlampi for 13th place.
Right, let's take a look. Where's the closest battle on the track already? Everyone's pretty much still right with each other, but I think it's Ficarra up behind Matthew Daniels at the moment. Those two are coming towards each other. Shorthurst already starting to pull away a little lead.
So this is going to be a real opportunity for some of the people today that's been eyeing that top 25 spot and trying to get on the first page of the standings. And with a couple of big names missing today, there's going to be an opportunity to score some much needed points.
All of a sudden, Matt Daniels just puts his pedal to the metal, opens up that gap. Strauss again in with the new fastest lap. They had improved. Barlow closing in on Jan just a little bit further back as well. So it's pretty close all the way down the back. Little three-car fight here as well. So Matt Wood's involved in that. Joshua Daniels, then Rousseau as well.
Oh, you'd say, yeah, you were watching the FW31s go around here yesterday. Following distances, are they able to, or should these cars be able to follow each other closely through these quick S's and sort of long flowing corners, or is there much downforce loss?
They weren't too bad, although dirt, yeah, definitely came into effect, and there was some trains that started to build up, and I think this car will be slightly different because they were close enough to very close to making a move, but not quite there, and with the DRS, I think we'll see those passes.
DRS zone around here is nice and long. As soon as you get onto that back straight, you can pretty much open the flap on that rear wing.
Just as I pointed out just at the start as well, I'm not really sure what's going on with the flickering. Not much I can do about it now apart from come out and reload in. So some craziness going on there, and some of the YouTube chats have said, we just need some disco music in the background and we're off.
I can always make a plan.
Next time. Right, just no one's really making any sort of real grounding on anybody still. Ficarra and Daniels, they're the closest. Definitely seems like those two, different areas of the track, they're quicker than each other as well. We've got potentially someone off. No, oh yes. Alberto there, just recovering from a spin. Let's take a quick look back, and see what that was all about.
Nope.
And we lost our overlay.
Alberta just managed to come out of the corner a little bit too quickly, or get on the gas a little bit too hard too quickly, and just spun the back end around, didn't hit the wall. So most he's going to be suffering from is overheated tires.
Yeah, just waiting for overlay to kick back up so we can push it back to live, but yeah, demanding track, absolutely whopping my system at the moment, so
Yeah, there's been the well-known issues with all the frame rate issues that we've had, and but nevertheless, we've got 17 guys circulating. I've had the privilege of enjoying an official week around here, albeit in the solstice, and yeah, it's a challenging track, even in a little car like that. Some of the corners are very, very deceiving. Sort of the hairpin at the far end of the track, it's a corner where you think, wow, I can go in there and take that corner a lot quicker than you really can, and it's easy to overcook it on there, especially on the exit.
the 3-car battle starting to form up now. This is between Veloso, Faro and Giuseppe as well, so any moment we'll see some action for P2. It looks like Eunice is really struggling as well. He's dropped back from this this trio here about 5 seconds near enough now, and
he just got done by Ficara as well, and had a little spin of the back wheels on the exit of turn 1.
Goes back up the inside. Nature of the track just gives him the opportunity to do that, but Ficara has the inside. Of course, Ficara will have slightly worse exit. Eunice can deploy some ERS, try and get back up the inside. Ficara does leave him the room. So very sporting of him, and Eunice's car still sliding around there and gets a bit of a shocking exit, and it's going to come under a bit of pressure now from Jan Switter. Jan has a look round the outside, can't do anything. We'll hope to get good drive off the corner, put Eunice under pressure through the S's.
I tell you what, watching them coming out of some of these corners is more like watching an episode of Rallycross than anything else. It only takes 2 people to get into a little bit of a battle, and the guys behind catch up so quickly.
Yeah, it's
crazy. Next thing you know it, you have like 5 or 6 car battle. That just goes absolutely nuts.
Field have pretty much been racing against each other all season long as well, so they know each other well, and I think now all the pace is starting to sort of equalise out a little bit in the split. You look at the order, really, there's a few new faces that just a little bit further down maybe are up in this split that wouldn't have been previously, but generally they're all sort of like a second or so or half a second behind each other, so it's just natural spread at the moment that's splitting the pack. Yeah, Jan really had his opportunity to make a move on Eunice, didn't capitalise on it, and now Eunice has settled back in. Tyres seem to be okay after the little bit of wheel spin that he got coming out of turn 1, and he's settled back in, although he is losing ground on Ficara.
Ficara has just managed to pull out. Well, he's outside the DRS detection bit, that 1 second gap that we're looking for, so he should have a nice clear run. What is going to be interesting is to see under how much pressure Eunice is going to come. from Labate and Schwitter as they go down this back straight. Right, it's got a nice clear gap.
Yeah, Schwitter, of course, with the DRS, we're pointing out the DRS zones as well, obviously down the main straight and that back straight into the chicane too, so a couple of areas that the drivers can utilise it. We still see Eunice just dropping back from Barra even more, so yeah, real problems for Eunice. I didn't see him pick up any damage or anything else like that, so just struggling with race pace out there more than anything. Jan having a little look into turn one, Eunice going a little bit wide, but it's fairly defensive because he has the inside and gets on the power a lot earlier as well.
Eunice is quite far off the pace at the moment. All 5 guys in front of him is lapping in the 1 minute 34. His last lap was a 1 minute 36.0.
Yeah, our leader just pulling away as well. The battle for second place. We seem to have dropped Matt Farrow from that a little bit. Matt now 1.2 seconds back. So it's the two teammates looking at the liveries. But yeah, good to see a whole bunch of Movano cars coming into it. Obviously, I know the team more from their GT3 exploits. Of course, a couple of drivers in the World Championship. Let's not forget Patrick and Tommaso Carla. But still, oh, and obviously Richard joined them as well, didn't he? Sorry, Richard. But yeah, it's good to see a few more drivers coming up and giving the car a shot.
It's a team that's really grown a lot over the last year or so. I remember just not so long ago just seeing one of their livery cars in various series here and there, but they've really come to the fore and made a name for themselves.
It doesn't look like any of the teammates are going to do anything. I wonder if Filosa's being held up at all here. I don't know. It looked like they're very even pace, but a couple of tenths. But I guess while they're just pulling away steadily from Farrow, there's no real urgency from them. Switch back to the Schwitter and Labate Daniels battle. Tucked up behind Eunice still. Oh, that was a mistake there from Carlo. Got a whole heap of wheel spin. He's lost the place going into the S's. And yeah, so that's Daniels up a place and into 8th now. So easy done there as well. You need a good drive out of that corner, and Carlo just lit the rear wheels up there, and car had a massive sort of lunge. Although
he's off.
DRS open. Through the kink. He wanted to dive out to the right there, I think, like that, and just gave it a bit too much. Forgot that his DRS was open. No downforce in the back of that car. See you later. That's another few places gone. So what was pretty bad lap has just got worse.
God, it's like a little snowball effect. Once one thing starts going wrong, everything seems to go wrong.
He'll be a bit frustrated that we caught that on the stream, I think, but yeah, done.
When I was looking at that, I was just about to say he's about to have a go for that position going into that chicane, and as I was about to open my mouth, I just saw the back end going with a little puff of smoke. Oh, well, that's been, it seems to have spread that lot out a little bit, although Eunice has got Schwitter, well, about 0.4 of a second, half a second behind him.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at Eunice's lap time, he's lapping about a second a lap slower than the leader right now as well. So qualified well. So I'm thinking maybe he must have got some sort of knock or something like that in the first lap that we haven't seen, because he really is struggling. And again, he's just
again.
doesn't seem to have the traction on the rear of that car. And yeah, I wonder if perhaps, you know, a bit of diffuser damage or something like that. Just got a little knock on the rear, something. I don't know. Just definitely struggling. And we normally used to watching Nunes come through the pack towards the front. So
I'm just having a look back at the start now. First corner or two, there was nothing. He wasn't anywhere near anybody. He had a fairly good start, and I think he made up a place off the line as well. And it just seemed as the moment he got to that hairpin, that's where the trouble started. He just started losing places from there on in. Yeah, it was when you're driving a car like that what doesn't feel great, and you know you're lacking pace, where 40 laps around a track like this can become a very long day at the office.
yeah, so just I'm just. System is really struggling today, and you know, obviously we push all the race out on absolute max settings if we can, and yeah, everything's slowly shutting down on me here. So fortunately, the streaming machine is connected is slightly different, so not such a bad thing. But the stream should keep going. But yeah, just yeah, apologies, the overlay just not responding particularly well or anything like that, so we'll try our best to sort that out next time. Say that, we just see some there as well.
Oh, well, all of that was going on.
Isn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah, I didn't think you were the only one with problems. Well, you're having overlay problems, and Matt Woods had a few problems of his own. You know, suffering the exact same accident as Labate did, coming down the back straight, having the DRS open, and just as he decided to turn around that little bend, he lost the back in, and unluckily for him, he went straight into the wall. I'm afraid that might be the end of his race. Car's not even steering straight.
Looks like he's
now.
Yeah, looks like
he's done.
Yeah, looks like he's brought it to a standstill. So that's out. Closest battle now on track is Matthew Daniels and Jan. So Jan all of a sudden lost the rear of Eunice, and Jan that's under a bit of pressure now.
Yeah, Matthew Daniels is right behind him. Well, one good thing for Eunice at least is it seems like he's found a little bit of time from somewhere. His last lap was his first lap into the 134s. So he posted a 134.9.
Yeah, so Pick, like I say, just all of a sudden found something. I wonder if... Yeah, I can't imagine it was like, you know, engine settings were too low. I mean, he was still lighting up the rear wheels here, there and everywhere. Or maybe he's just dialed them back a little bit. Maybe they were too high, you know, and now... Oh, Matthew Daniels just blinked out as well. Could be losing another one. Could be losing us before long as well. We're really struggling now, so again, I apologise.
It's really been one of those mornings.
Just gradually shutting everything down in the background. So apologies, I'll leave you with it for a second, Conrad. But yeah, no, still good battle though between Matt Daniels and Steve Honan closing in as well on them. Slowly but surely, last lap was he was about the same, Steve, but gap definitely coming down. Gap at the front, 4.5 seconds. Stein just slowly pulling away each lap, not by much, tenth or two now. That the two Movano guys have gotten into their rhythm, and Matt Farrow as well, just falling further back. Although Matt had a bit of a shock of that last lap, a 1:36.7, so he's dropped down. But we'll keep an eye on this this battle at the moment. This definitely seems where the action's going to be on the track. Filosa just following his teammate around, happy to be in third.
Well, I think we're gonna see a race pretty similar to what we saw in Montreal. This track just it seems to just catch up the drivers the moment they look like they're getting nice and comfortable with it. It almost kind of looks like you have to pay the track the respect that it's due. You can't think, well, I've got the hang of this, we're just going to try and turn up the pace a little bit. The moment you do that, you just touch the gas a little bit too early, you're in trouble. As I say that, Matthew Daniels coming down towards the hip and having run wide the previous corner. Steve Honan right behind him. Steve Honan having a little show and go. Daniels sticks up another puff of smoke as they go onto the back straight. Honan's going to get the DRS.
All of a sudden, Honan dropped miles back there. It's like he didn't deploy that or something like that. He's over a second behind, and you can see him just looking back from Matt's car that he's struggling with a bit of traction out there as well. So
I think that right-hand bend, as they got the DRS open on the back straight, is just catching them out. If you I saw Steve Honan going around that bend, and he ran really wide. So I'm wondering if they put their foot down and it got the flap open, and then all of a sudden realised that the back end is in danger of going.
You just need to be ultra smooth through there, don't you? You can't afford to push it or do anything sort of sudden. You need to have a very, very smooth line through the corner, and know that you need to sort of time your overtake. So actually, it's more after the corner that you can just duck out rather than try and jump them coming out of the corner to one side, so they've got the preferred line. One thing I do love about the new car as well is how you're able to attack the curbs now as well. Everybody really sort of utilising them exactly how you would expect to see, and car rides them so well. Obviously you can affect that with the setup and whatnot, but for the most part, actually, it's very, very it's very good over the curbs, and definitely makes racing the car far more enjoyable than the old FW31 where you used to hit them and it was just like it's like hitting a brick or something like that, and the car would just like bounce all over the place.
Well, I tell you what, we've seen them riding the curbs along here, but one place where the curb is being paid an immense amount of respect is that last chicane. you can see the cars going through there, and they're not really taking any liberties over there.
Yeah, that is pretty hefty. To be fair, you can hit it, but yeah, that's one of the ones that really catch you out. Noticed as well with just some of the work that we were doing, you know, to make the car a little bit quicker through the rest of the track. Actually, did sort of adversely affect it through that chicane, especially with how it sort of rode the bumps and the curbs. So it bit of a toss up. You know, you can have the car really good through there and stable, and you know, or you can try and build it for the rest of the track, and it's whichever way you want to go on that one. If you don't like the corner and you keep spinning and crashing there, then go for safety. But if you're not too bothered by it, then you can go for a bit of speed elsewhere.
I found that a really, really tricky corner. In fact, on the approach to the corner, it looks like it's a much wider chicane than it really is, and it's so easy just to overcook it going in into the corner. And once you do that, then you got to look out for that curb on the exit of the chicane.
Yang keeps closing up to Eunice and then dropping back again, closing up, dropping back. It's a bit of a pattern that's starting to form now, and it was a slow lap for Jan that time, a 135.2 compared to Eunice's 134.7. Eunice actually coming back to Ficarra and Matt Farrow ahead of him, so yeah, perhaps a bit late in the race to be doing that. Maybe he hasn't got too much racecraft practice and there's no damage at all. It's just not used to the car with the heavy fuel, and he's finally finding his feet in it and now slowly catching up. I mean, that lap, the only person who was quicker than him on the circuit was our race leader, and that was only by about half a tenth of a second.
Astania's just gone about his business, nice and quietly so far this morning, or this afternoon, should I rather say.
Yeah, I bet it feels like morning for yourself still.
Yeah, I tell you what, you sort of get sucked into these endurance events. Just did a couple of stints, and then the rest of the drivers showed up, and instead of going to bed and having a couple of hours more sleep than I had, you sit and you chat and you spot a little bit, and before you know it, it's your turn to drive again, and you've just wasted the last 3 or 4 hours getting no sleep whatsoever.
Well, you really spread out. It's just these sort of 3 or 4 cars that are going back and forth amongst between themselves at the moment. Matt Daniel's now the closest to Jan as he's been for a little while, 0.4 of a second. DRS open going into turn 1, late on the brakes from Matt. Just can't get his nose alongside, and then there's a little twitch coming out of turn 1. How many times have we said that today? Connection issues again for Matt. And settled itself back down, mind you, and continues on his way. But yeah, so just seems like, you know, when the drivers get a little bit aggressive into that turn 1, and you know, they want to get the power down, they're really sort of just hammering the tyres there, and any momentum that they've gained through the DRS, they're just losing it straight away.
Yeah, I mean, they have any kind of issues there, it punishes them for the rest of the laps in terms of tyre temperature as well, doesn't it?
We haven't discussed this at all, and obviously I haven't done enough running to know whether or not it's going to be an issue today as well. The track's not that hot, so I think they're going to be able to make it on no stops, but it's definitely a track that will punish the tyres. You know, one corner leads into another, and you know, we're getting that halfway stage of the race now. Are we going to see any pit stops this one? I don't think we will, but I think the tyres are good to last the sort of 66% race distance that we do.
Yeah, I think the pit lane might just be too long. As we see Steve Honan coming out of that final corner, getting a little wiggle on.
So good to see Steve in the McLaren. I'm used to seeing him in the INDYCAR, where it's just we've actually raced each other. Certainly on the timing sheet with qualifying and things like that, but yeah, I'm not so sure on actual track, but yeah, it's good to see him step up.
so we've seen the gaps between the front runners and the guys at the back open up quite quickly this week. I mean, we've got Joshua Daniels and Borasuo having a little ding-dong at the moment. Joshua Daniels had a really bad lap that last one, actually. It was 142.2, and but he's just about a second in front of Borasuo for 15th place.
Drivers who had a bad lap as well. Eunice had a bad lap, but we'll take a quick look at that one because it looks like he's pulling back away again. And like I say, it's just back and forth for 136.5 for Eunice, that one. So the slowest driver on the track. So it took about swapping around. Oh, and that's not entirely true. Sorry, Josh. This little battle that we were watching, they were both just a little bit slower. But always good to see new faces. Haven't had an awful lot of airtime, so yeah, we'll do that now. Josh as well. So interesting because sometimes we see 2, sometimes we see 3 splits in SOF races, and yeah, it's pretty early for Josh if he's over in America. So fair play for him for getting up and taking part.
You never know. He might have some teammates somewhere that's still circulating around Daytona.
Well, yeah, that's the truth. And he's probably thought, oh, look, I can jump in an F1 race. I just finished one. Why not? Have at it.
There's a bit of a time killer in between stints.
Frosty? Jump back up to that 4-car pack as it just looks like Josh is just slowly pulling away again.
Just more watching Matt Farrow and Ficarra over the last 2 laps. Ficarra is slowly but surely catching up to Farrow. The gap is about a second, just over a second and a half at the moment. But yeah, he's the last lap he caught up by a half a second. So if all goes well for him, then he might be back onto the back of Farrow in the not too very distant future.
One thing we've seen with Ficarra, isn't it, in a lot of the races actually this season, that the pace towards the end of the race seems fairly consistent. Minimal drop off. Other drivers just not able to hold their tyres in quite as well, and from my experience, it doesn't really matter on how you drive them too much, as long as you're not locking up and sliding anywhere. That's where you will, as Barrow, possibly do just that. I think we've seen a lot of cars do that, so it's a tricky corner, and I think it just, yeah, we see a bit of a slide there. But yeah, it's not easy to keep the tyres, sort of conserve the tyres so that they are quicker towards the end of the stint. But Ficarra seems to be quick at the end of every race that we've watched him in.
He's he's sort of, for me, being one of those lingering drivers, never one that pulls these big moves and sort of showstopper. He just hangs about and goes about his business in his own quiet way, and is always there at the end. In one of the top spots. So a very consistent driver. I think we jinxed him around Montreal a couple of weeks ago, where we were praising his resilience and consistency on running on a higher downforce setup than most of the other people. As I say that, he nearly goes off the track.
Very wide there as well, but yeah, the runoffs are pretty reasonable here. Actually, you get that little bit of curb in area that you can just abuse a little bit.
So that previous lap they did, he closed up on Farrow by another 7 or 8 tenths of a second.
It could just be an engine mode thing as well, that, you know, Farah perhaps used a little bit too much ERS throughout the first part of this race, and he's just trying to conserve it now, build it back up for the end to make sure that he has plenty to use and defend from, and Fikara is just sort of perhaps on a slightly higher setting right now as well. We've seen that
We've
happen.
just lost Carlo Labatti.
Carlo down in 16th. Let's see what happened to Carlo, if I can get a replay of that.
Oh, there was an incident with the wall. Oh, that went all wrong in so many different ways.
Back far enough. Let's try again. No, it's still in the pits there, so sorry, I just need to try and find this. Here we go, we should have it this time. Alright, so back a little bit now, so this is a couple of minutes ago, so just coming out of the first sector now. Issues there, we see a couple of people light that up. Oh, he just got on the curb there, didn't he, to the right, and then that just superheated his tyres by the looks of it, and just nailed the gas down again, and the car just spat him out to the left, straight into the wall, suspension damage. That's your race over and done with.
Yeah, he had about 2 or 3 goes at getting that car straightened up and on its way again, and unfortunately for him, just none of it worked.
Haven't seen too much of Klaus in this race. Just having a quick look really through, see people who we've covered. Obviously, Klaus done a bit of racing in the FW31. We've seen him in the Class A series before. And in 10th place at the moment. Pretty lonely race there. Baldwin behind him in 11th. He's got a little bit of company. But that's 1.1 seconds back, so outside the DRS zone. Although you were just a little bit closer in the Williams liveried car. Looked very nice.
And while we're focusing on these guys, Alex, I'm going to throw an apology out there for Klaus right now. So I've just clicked that I might have missed him out when we were going through the grid at the start. I did find it fairly odd that I thought there were 8 rows of cars but 17 drivers, but never mind. I'm not going to tell you my excuse, you should know by now.
Yeah, you're half asleep, it's all good. WP2 at the moment, looking pretty comfortable, it's fair to say now. He's got a 4.2 second gap over his teammate. 7.4 to the leader. Nothing you could do really. Just Stein just pulling away between a tenth and 2/10 of a second a lap at the moment. Yeah, it's going to take some sort of mistake or some back marker traffic or something like that to get him back up towards him. But even then, I think it's take a DNF from Stein to give Giuseppe the opportunity to win this one. Steve Honan closing back in on Matt Daniels again. These 4 cars have been, yeah, there's just nothing really separating them at the moment.
I would love to know what's going on in terms of, you know, battery settings and all kind of modes, engine modes they're running, and inside all of those 3 cars. To see what each of them is doing and managing their race.
I have to say, Conrad, we're 26 laps into this 40 lap race. Not been an awful lot of overtaking today, has there?
I think it's just the nature of the track. I mean, there's a lot of, apart from sort of turn 1 and that final chicane, most of the other corners are sort of fast flowing corners. It doesn't really give you an opportunity to close up to somebody under braking all that much, and following the car in front very closely through the faster corners with the lack of downforce you get from it is really difficult as well.
Time puts the fastest lap of the race in again. 1:34.1. Great lap from him. Oh, we might see something now though. Matt Daniels very close to Jan. Surely this time sets himself up a wide line into the final corner. Wants a good exit on there.
That looks great.
Great on the power. He's going to have DRS advantage. He opens it up right now. And Jan goes defensive around the outside. It's going to be who's the best of the late breakers. And Jan's very, very good on the brakes there. And Matt Daniels leaves far too much room on the inside and can't complete the move. Really needed to squeeze Jan on the inside there, and I think he was perhaps a little bit nervous that Jan wasn't going to be able to hold the line there, but was perfectly actually. Great defensive driving from Jan. Holds on to that 7th place.
It just goes to show how important it is to take your opportunity as well. Like you said, what was it, 26, 27 laps in, and that's probably the first opportunity he's had to have a look up the inside or down into turn 1, or I think it was on the outside. But yeah, who knows if he's going to get another opportunity in this race.
Yeah, drop back all of a sudden. Pick her back up. Does seem to be working again. Wondering if there's anything else going on out there. Really, this is it. This is the only battle that we've got on track, so we're going to stick with this for the moment. Steve wants to get in on this action. I just think Steve's just struggling a little bit on pace. These guys perhaps ever so marginally quicker, but as soon as they start to battle in any shape or form, that he's back there. Maybe he's just sitting, waiting, conserving battery, have a bit of a charge 3 laps from the end or something like that.
You can see that little side-by-side they had into turn 1 on the previous lap. Sent the lap time straight into the 35s.
Oh, and Matt makes a little mistake, goes ever so wide, and all of a sudden it's going to be Steve that's going to be on the attack right now. Daniel's on the defence. Look as they head down towards the hairpin.
Steve Onan taking a nice wide entry into that corner. He's going to give himself a good exit. It might just be a little bit too far behind.
You can't make anything right now, and Matt's already closed back into Jan. I think for Steve, he really needs Matt to come out of the DRS zone so that he can have a proper run at him. But while Matt keeps getting that DRS everywhere, it's very, very tricky. Again, Nunes pulled a 2.2 second gap away from these guys, so it's very strange. All of a sudden, you know, running one of the quicker cars again. Very odd today.
Nunes had an issue somewhere. He looks like he's got some front wing damage, and he has got Jan Schwitter all over the back of him coming out of that final corner into turn 1. Is Jan gonna have a look? It looks like he just had to get on the brakes a little bit harder than he had to.
Let's just wind it back and just have a quick look, see what happened there, and then hopefully there won't be any overtakes until we get back. But yeah, so just watching Eunice through the S, no problem there. The left-hander, again, no real issue whatsoever. Yes, and he's just going to be through the chicane, is it?
Yep.
Yeah, just again, this is just what we said. Just, you know, really struggling. Just hasn't got the consistency that we're used to seeing have. Oh yeah, he just overshot it completely. Bumped over the high curb. Of course, he gets himself a slowdown penalty to boot as well. Jan's there trying to get around the outside. He does manage to hold on to that. And yeah, this 4-car pack. Well, I was going to say it's closed back up again, but in fact, actually, Eunice has pulled a 1.1 second gap away again.
yeah, you just that final chicane is, just like I mentioned earlier. You just overcook a little bit into there, and yeah, it's going to happen exactly what happened to Yunus there. Now it's got front wing damage for his trouble. Hopefully that's not going to affect him too much for the rest of the race. Only got about 10 odd laps to go.
We've seen actually all season long that you can damage the front wing on these McLarens, and they're not too bad. Nowhere near as a large impact as it was in the old car. The old car, you get a little damage and slow your straight line speed down quite considerably, and massive understeer as well. You're looking at sort of 1.5 seconds time loss per lap sort of thing, maybe more in some if you get both sides damaged. So this car seems to be, it's more like about a tenth or so, which actually is far more realistic, because we've seen them break off an entire sort of end plate and things like that, and you know, they end up racing just a little bit faster than they were before. So the balance just comes perfect for them. See that iRacing have sort of modelled that a little bit closer with the damage model.
I have to want to sing these little puffs of smoke pop up as it goes through some of these corners, and what effect that's going to have on the tires as they approach the final quarter of the race. Oh, and there's bound to be one or two people that's really going to struggle with it.
So look at the positions now. As you can see, Shorthurst, Filosa, 11 seconds between them now. Everybody else starting to space out a little bit. Faro coming back to Giuseppe a little bit. Actually, we haven't picked up on that. It's Giuseppe in third place and Filosa in second. I don't know what happened there and when that swap happened. But yeah, Yunus again struggling. Jan up the inside, trying to take his opportunity this time. Will he make this one stick? He's going to have better exit out of this corner. He needs to absolutely nail it now. It's Yunus been making lots of little mistakes and really needs to get alongside, and he is up the inside, runs a little bit wide. Yunus is going to try and fight back around the outside. Of course, he'll get better exit. Jan on the power really early. He has got the high ground for the hairpin corner, but they're side by side. It's all going to be about how good each driver can brake late. Yunus very wide, goes into the gravel. Is he going to lose a place? Matt Daniels, they hit. They somehow survived, but yeah, what's your call on that one, Conrad? Let's take a little look at that back, because I think was you know, was Matt right to take that line there? I think he was well entitled to, and I think Yunus perhaps come across a bit too late trying to defend that. Take another little look at it.
Oh, I think Yunus just lost it coming off the curb.
Oh, he has. Yeah, that's it. You're right. Just a pure mistake. Nothing more. Just lost it. But yeah, Matt unfortunately loses a place to Steve Hone, and Yunus down as well. So he was really struggling. But doesn't look like, somehow they survived damage-wise. I mean, how are the cars still going? They took a massive wallop on the side. Go back to live, because it looks like Yunus is up the inside of Steve. Somehow that car survives.
I think that, well, that just for me looked like a bit of a panicked move by Yunus coming out of that hairpin. I mean, he was off the track, position was already lost, and he had run wide. Already made one mistake by doing that, and then just tried to minimize the damage in terms of losing positions by getting on the power too early. And I'm afraid the person that suffered most from that is Matthew Daniels. He had did everything he could, going to the far end of the track to try and avoid Yunus, but unfortunately, there's not much you can do about a car that's out of control and coming your way.
Got 19 point seconds, I think. So look who's behind. Yeah, so Klaus is 19.8 seconds behind. So even with the damage, 8 laps to go. What he does lap time wise this time by, and suffering with connection issue. You can see side pod damage on the back there. sudden we've we lost screen for a second, but it's back. So it's a 136.7 that lap, so he'll be absolutely fine. He's not going to lose any more places. He'll just be a bit frustrated that he's not got a chance to battle here. Eunice up the inside.
Eunice up the inside again.
The 134.9 there, fastest lap from anybody that time. And he's got damage on the right and wing damage, and just no consistency out there at the minute. It's really hard to know what's going on.
Well, it looks like he knocked a bit more balance into the car with that incident with Daniels.
Remember that one for for future races?
Yeah, struggle a little bit, just get somebody to T-bone you.
It wouldn't be the first time we've seen a damaged car go faster. I tell you, I remember some INDYCAR races where a bit of damage on the suspension and the car turns like a dream. Some of the oval courses, absolutely foot to the floor and smashing everybody.
Oh, that's certainly something I've experienced in the trucks, especially in the fixed series. Yeah, when you start struggling with a little bit of understeer, there's nothing like hitting the outside ball and getting that car to turn in a little bit better.
Right, 7 laps to go, not too much going on track. Got a Odrin just 0.8 of a second behind P11. They've been there or thereabouts for a while. Again, really, it's just this battle. Though Matt Farrow is closing in on Giuseppe. So, wow, very quickly
He's really
as well,
close
all
to
of
him
a
now.
sudden. So, side by side, going into the right-hander, there was obviously some sort of a mistake, I think, from Giuseppe there. Takes a little look into the right-hander, just showing his nose. Will get the opportunity to use the DRS. You can see him deploy it there. Just needs to be careful through the right-hander. Does indeed, doesn't make any mistakes. Look like it's very difficult to get a move done there, because I think the driver's probably just a little bit hesitant through that right-hand kink there. And all of a sudden that battle fizzles out really, really quickly, and there's 0.8 of a second between them.
Giuseppe has just managed to pull that little gap. Farrow's got the DRS again.
Opponent was having a quick little look at Eunice there. Eunice very, very close to Jan. Wants that place back.
Well, Steve Honan is just sort of hanging around there. He's just waiting for something to happen.
You're right. I think you can sense that there could be sort of 6th place could be up for grabs here with just 6 laps to go, and just got to wait for them to have a little bit of a tussle.
Yeah, and he's already benefited from getting 1 place from fights in front of him. Like you say, if he's lucky enough in the final 5 or 6 laps, he might pick up an extra place or 2 yet again.
Look, see what's happened here. I think Eunice was just different lines.
Oh,
in
it's
the
on that
corner
curve
as well.
again.
Survives, it's okay this time. But yeah, I think he just tried to get on the power a little early there, which pushed him out wide, and got to run. Do anything this time?
Oh, I think Matt Farrow's had some issues somewhere. Ficaro's passed him. Oh yeah, that last
and
lap
Giuseppe as well.
Giuseppe as well, 143 and a 141 respectively from those 2 drivers.
Just see if we can find what that was.
I think I can tell you now where it happened. Wow.
Yeah, we're about to see it. Sorry. Let's just go a bit further back. Looks like it was into the chicane. It looks like Giuseppe made a mistake in the chicane, and
Yeah.
Farah couldn't avoid it. Nice. almost
just drove
perfect.
straight through all of that.
Almost perfect sound effects there from the phone as well. Bedine. Yeah, thank you very much. He'll take
yeah,
those.
that was very apt, wasn't it?
Yeah, he'll take those 2 places. Thank you very much. Very a bit disappointed that he didn't get the podium from that, but yeah, Ficarra nonetheless gets that. 4 laps to go then.
Yeah, I'm just going to call myself a genius now. I did say earlier, Ficarra is always managing to keep himself there or thereabouts, and he's driven himself straight into a podium position with 4 laps to go.
Oh, Eunice with the DRS deployed on Jan. Look at the state of Eunice's front end of that car. It's just destroyed. But does get the move complete. Yeah, Jan really struggling with pace out there now. A lot slower than he was at the start of the race.
Yeah, I do find that a little bit odd to see that the walls that Eunice's car has been in to see him have the pace that he's got.
Else having some problems out there, and that's Baldwin coming out of the final corner. Liam recovering. Looks like he did make some damage to the wall as well. Well, hit the wall and damage to his car. I'm sure the wall's fine. But yeah, damage front end on that, but no one else behind him. He wasn't too far behind this battle that started to form up between Klaus and Ewer here as well. So 4 laps to go, 0.7 of a second between them.
Bolton looked like he was out of the corner, home and dry, and yeah, it's just went. And we've seen that so many times. You know, various circuits, various drivers, same result.
Farah closing in. Farah closing in on Ficarra. Just having a little look at the lap times that time. It was nearly a second that lap as well. So crazy amount of time. Full deployment, I guess, for Matt.
We've got Jan Veruso in the pits. Can't really see any damage on the car.
Blown tyre or something like that can happen. Like I say, we have seen them in other races. You know, the drivers really do push these tyres to the absolute limit. I mean, we're seeing like wear rates down at like sort of 10-15% left on the tyre, and pretty easy for them to burst. Watkins Glen, we saw a fair few at Watkins over the week.
Oh, it must have been at a 4-second stop. Obviously, just took the tyres and it's off again.
Fortunately, does put him down in 15th, last of the runners. Lap down.
You know what?
Tasty with 2 laps to go now, I tell you.
I suspect there was a front left tyre that went on Veruso's car. You could see as he was coming into the pit lane, as he took that right-hand turn, the car just sort of leaned, dipped towards the front and the left, and it started bouncing a little bit.
For Farah, very, very late indeed. But Ficarra saw him come and give him the room, wanted the cutback, but couldn't quite do it. But yeah, he lined that up. We saw that move from like Nico Rosberg, do you know what I mean? And it was super, super late. And Nico couldn't quite get it stopped. That was like the sort of the Bahrain race. It reminds me of when he did that, just completely overcooked it. But yeah, managed to get the car stopped. Well, that's a great move from Matt. He didn't want to lose that place, I'll tell you. And yeah, back up to third with just 1.5 laps to go, and of course we've got Giuseppe just behind as well. He will want to try and regain some of some positions after he made the mistake at the chicane a couple laps ago.
Do you think it was a bit of a squeaky bum time for Farrow right there?
Oh yeah, no doubt. I mean, you would have seen that coming. Ficarra had one option there, really, or two options. One, hold your line and get hit, or two, give enough room and concede the position. He opted to finish the race, which at the end of the day is the right thing. But yeah, very aggressive from Matt. But you know, you've got to know who you're driving against, and you know that drivers will see you coming. Some people might not see you making that move, and you know, they'll turn in on you, and that's your race over as well. So you've got to have a lot of trust and a lot of faith. For the last lap, Stein Shorts, we haven't spoke too much about him, but he's 13.3 seconds ahead of Filosa now, so very solid race for him. No problems whatsoever. Just gone about his business all race long.
Yeah, had a very good start, and he pretty much pulled the gap right out of the first corner, off the starting line, in fact, and yeah, it's been all one-way traffic from there.
2 races in a row, really, isn't it? Back-to-back wins for him now.
It's a very, very controlled drive. And he managed to build a nice 13-second gap to second place, so under no pressure whatsoever for the entire race.
Watch him as he comes across the start-finish line through the final corner. Checker flag is out and waiting for him. Great race, no issues whatsoever. Has a little wiggle down the straight. Thoroughly deserved victory. Delighted with that, no doubt. Filosa will be 13 seconds or so behind him, coming around the final corner now. Good race from him as well. Steady. Didn't make any mistake like his teammate had done, and that's what gets him P2 on the end of the race. And of course, got Matt Farrow coming across now for to take the final step on the podium. Ficarra is going to hold on for 4th, I think. Maybe. Yes, just.
Ficarra managed to get it.
Eunice, of course, is going to come across in 6th place. Looks like Jan really dropped off pace-wise at the end of this race massively. I mean, 137s now. Steve Honan as well dropped right off. Couldn't do it. Couldn't get anything. Couldn't get past Jan.
Ah, we've got Matthew Daniels making a place up on Steve Honan. Oh, that must have happened on a previous lap. Steve must have made a mistake somewhere at some point, lost that place. Well, that last lap was 1:43, so all 6 seconds slower than Matthew Daniels.
Little battle here, final corner. This is between Euro and Klaus. 10th and 11th place, going to be a straight-on fight towards the start-finish line. DRS is open, but it's just not going to be enough, I don't think. No, it's not indeed. Very, very close. 10th of a second. Separate the two of them as they come across the start-finish line. Just spiced itself up a little bit towards the end there, Conrad, but yeah, very slow to get going.
Yeah, they. I mean, we see it's sort of all these races are starting to follow a certain pattern from week to week. It's all guns blazing at the start, and then goes through this sort of lull period, and then normally the last 5 or 6 laps, it all kicks off again. But yeah, I'm just quickly looking at the drivers' chat, and it would appear that some of Eunice's lap time issues might be to do with the frame rate issue around this track. So I mean, it's something I don't think we considered at the time, but
yeah, it doesn't surprise me actually. I mean, we're struggling like this, and we're running on just a single screen. Yes, we've got absolutely everything maxed out, and you can see the issues we're having. Of course, you know, when you're running 3 screens, you know, you've got to turn it down. I mean, personally, myself, I literally turn everything off. You know, everything. Run everything on low, apart from perhaps, you know, like the AA, where it's so that I can at least have a reasonable track surface that I'm running on, and it's not all jaggedy and stuff like that. But you know, I need to myself, I want to maintain my frame rates, which is my target's about 145, and that's the only way I can do that. Is just turn everything off. Fantastic looking track, but I'll never get to see it in the actual sim. I'll never actually get to drive on it like that, because as far as I'm concerned, it's undrivable when you're doing it at 30 frames a second on 3 screens. And there's people in the chat saying they're refusing to drive it while it's like that. So I wonder if iRacing just need to take a second look at it and just try and optimize it up a little bit. I mean, I know they said, you'd need a bigger PC to run these these circuits and stuff like that, but I think they've gone a bit crazy with it, if I'm honest. And they need to figure out a way of getting it more like some of the other circuits.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing is I thought the Nordschleife would be the big frame rate eater, and for me that's been perfectly fine. But the Grand Prix track has been the one that it's not. I
think the issue is a lot of it still gets rendered, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, we're just on the scenic cam right now, and of course you can see all the outlying stuff. There's so much detail that's gone in. I mean, you have to credit iRacing for the detail. I mean, we're up looking at the castle and stuff like that right now, and it looks fantastic. It really does. They have done an amazing job on that. But ultimately, the guys, they only care about the track when they're on it, and they don't really care about the surrounding area. So. Yeah, I wonder if perhaps they just need to have a minor little tweak on some of these settings. Just turn some of it down so that the minimum frame rates and the stutter. I think it's the stutter that everybody's complaining about. There was a huge thread, and I think there is still a massive thread about the frames per second on there. And
I promise you, the only time you have around this track to sit back and look at the scenery is when you're going down that back straight in the Solstice. Every other car is just too quick. I mean, the only thing you care about is the black stuff in front of you, and that's all that matters.
Well, on that note, do you want to just run us through the final standings, and then we will wrap the stream up? And we'll wish everyone a good weekend and see them next week.
Yeah, I'll be shooting off after that as well to see how my team's getting on. The final couple of minutes of that Daytona race, but we've got Stein Scotthorst in first place. It was a brilliant win over Sebastiano Velosa with by about 14 seconds. Third place was taken by Matt Farrow, followed by Ficara in fourth. Jonas Nikarinen eventually came home in fifth, with Ragusa in sixth place. Jan Schwitter in seventh, Matthew Daniels in eighth, Steve Honan in ninth, and Klaus Simonsen in 10th place. Juan Noralampi made his way all the way up to 11th after some early troubles, with Dolgen Bolgen coming home in 12th place. Joshua Daniels was in 13th, with Alberto Garcia in 14th. Jan Veruso had some tire trouble as well. He came home in 15th place, and then the two retirees was Carlo Labatti and Matt Wood.
Awesome, right? Thank you very much for joining me, mate. You go get some sleep. Hopefully, what have we got? 10 minutes left of the races there. Down on the Daytona 24, so getting to the business end now. So, yeah, wish your guys all the best. Everybody else, his teammates that are competing as well. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll be back next week. Before we go, I'm not prepared at all. Schedule up. Oh, that's right. It's Interlagos next week. So.
Oh, that should be fun.
Yeah, that'll be a great circuit again. So, yep, next week then. Same time, same place. Here on iRacing Live and Apex Racing TV. We'll see you then at Interlagos.
For iRacing to get Le Mans is huge. I mean, this is a unique event, a unique track where, half of the track is public road, so you can never test on it, you never get experience on it, and it's 8 miles in length, 4-minute lap time in a GT car. So, even if you're here for an hour of testing, that's only 15 laps, and you're only going to see the corner 15 times that day. The first section going through the Dunlop area is pretty unique. It's got elevation change and off camber. Then you go down Mulsanne into the chicanes, and the straights are unbelievably long. it's a tricky track, and you know, every year I've come here, being my 4th year, you learn something new every time.
We've wanted to add Le Mans to iRacing for a long time, and we've really been working hard towards it for the last 5 years. But really, things only came together in the last week leading up to this race. So it was a real scramble to put everything together. The majority of Le Mans is public roads. So when they're preparing for the 24-hour race, it's really the only time that we can visit to laser scan and photograph the track so that we can recreate it in iRacing. We work closely with the ACO to get essentially exclusive access to the facility and everything that we needed to get the laser scanning and photographic reference that we need to create the track. We were very fortunate to be at Le Mans at the most important time of the year and gain that experience of being there. And we're going to really do the best we can to put that into our work and making sure that the Le Mans in iRacing is the best Le Mans, the most exciting and accurate recreation of the track possible.
iRacing is the most accurate online racing game and simulation available to the general public. The iRacing service allows you, the race fan, the real-world racer, the race enthusiast, the gamer, to race virtual replicas of real-world cars and at real-world, world-class racetracks. iRacing laser scans all of its content to millimeter accuracy, which gives you a digital replication of that car or track. Whether you want to race for online championships, race your buddies in a league, or test for an upcoming real-world race, iRacing has what those sim racers, gamers, race fans, and real-world racers are looking for. Unparalleled accuracy with loads of fun wheel-to-wheel excitement. Because of the solid community that iRacing has built, along with that attention to detail, iRacing has been able to form official partnerships with renowned motorsport organizations such as NASCAR, SRO, IMSA, V8 Supercars, and others to develop professionally sanctioned online racing series for our members to participate in. This is unique to iRacing.
When we started iRacing, we kind of fundamentally wanted to take a different approach with licensing and treat them more like partnerships. You know, for instance, NASCAR was one of our first big partners that we brought in, and it's a great way to market your product. There is a growing sense that the virtual space is a great way to interact with the fans of your real-life series. Simulation in itself is just becoming more and more popular in the real racing world, and it's natural to think that to be successful in the real world in these racing series, you're going to have to be up to speed with simulation at this point, because it's the only way that you can actually get any testing done.
One of the things that we've realized in partnering with iRacing is that it allows us to expose the sport to a much broader audience than we've ever had the ability to reach out to. Not many people have the opportunity to drive a race car. iRacing breaks down those barriers and lets you do that. So for us, we're able to expose racing in general and the sport of NASCAR to a much broader audience from that standpoint. It engages people in NASCAR in general. So they like iRacing. If they don't want to become a professional race car driver, they get a feel for what the sport's all about. They're more apt to either go to a race or watch on TV.
iRacing's ever-growing global online community is very appealing to IMSA and what we're trying to do and grow our product as well. Clearly, iRacing is a leader in sim racing and logical and attractive partner for us to be with. For sim racers who have not been exposed to IMSA before, this is a great way to entice them to come check our product out on television or attend our events in person.
At this point now, we're actually getting contacted by racing series and tracks and manufacturers because they want to be involved in iRacing, because they see the value of having that sustained exposure to key demographics for them. Over the last few months, we've done partnerships with the SRO, who is the sanctioning body for the Blancpain GT series in Europe. IMSA, which is obviously the sports car series here in the US. They're two of the newest partners that have gotten on board with this idea that there is a way to kind of bring their brands into iRacing and create these virtual series that have real meaning to consumers of our product and fans of their series.
Next to the traditional ways of promoting the championship through TV, through media, through all forms of internet, we appreciate the growing importance of gaming. iRacing offered a very realistic platform where high-level players can get the nearest to the specificity of our type of racing.
Companies like NASCAR or Blancpain Series or IMSA don't just partner up with everybody. They see how authentic we are, how realistic the racing is, how much effort we put into making things real and fun and exciting for our members, and that's how we get to work with these companies. It helps us both engage our existing customers. It's more exciting to race when you're racing an actual NASCAR series versus just a stock car. And it also helps us reach new people, because new people, they follow these series in the real world and they want to get as close to them as they possibly can.
One of the things we love about iRacing and what they've created there is that it really emulates what we do in real life in NASCAR. You have to work your way up, you have to train, you have to become better at every single level in order to make it to the very top. iRacing was the perfect partner with the technology that they had to offer, really the best of anything that was out there, and they created the most authentic racing experience that anybody could find. Short of getting in an actual race car, you're not going to find anything closer to real life than what you'll find in iRacing.